the planet Gargoyle, and my purpose, I have come to conquer the Earth. Now feel the power of the Emperor.
Hey gang, Uncle Todd here, and we're going way back to the early 70s. Back when I was in first grade and just lived down the street from the grade school. And I would rush home after school to catch Johnny Sokko and his flying robot. It was a Japanese show made in the 60s, late 60s, around 67. And the basic plot kind of followed the basic plots of the Godzilla movies that were coming out in the late 60s. And as well as some influence from the Man from U.N.C.L.E. TV show, which was a big hit at that time. It didn't hit our shores until the 70s when it went into syndication by American International Pictures in their television division, where they would bring in foreign shows, redub them, rewrite some, and syndicate them. After the syndicated run of the show, they then edited a feature film version, which again got syndicated to TV stations, called A Voyage into Space, where they took episode 1 and final episode 26, and then parts of episode 2, 10, and 17 to make a feature length. Now, this has always been a cult favorite. Many people of my generation as kids watch this show, which is pretty amazing when you see how violent it is. This was not standard kid show fare. It was a Japanese kid show, but it was not a show American kids would have ever have seen from America. But it is basically a combination of alien invaders, government agents, and kaiju fights. The first episode opens with what is his name? Emperor Guillotine coming to Earth, where he is intercepted by some Earth defense fighter pilots. This isn't Klaatu and Gort coming down to make a peaceful little threatening speech, apparently. He's flat out here to take over. Well, after diving down to the bottom of the ocean, strange attacks start to happen a few months later.
Full astern! Full astern! A monster! Run for it! Run for it!
Gotta love that model work. Always so good. Well, the world is wondering what these attacks mean. Shipping is getting destroyed. Which then leads us to finally being introduced to our heroes.
We'd better stay alert. Sure. You made this trip, mister? Knowing the danger?
You see, I'm Jerry Mono, and in the Unicorn... that is... I'm a writer. Now, you tell me your name.
Me? I'm Johnny Sokko. Nice to meet you.
My pleasure, Johnny.
Some secret agent. He almost gave away his cover. But Johnny soon learns he's a Unicorn agent anyways. And we get our first bit of Man from U.N.C.L.E. influence.
This is Unicorn Agent U3. Will you acknowledge?
This is Azuma. U3. Any action?
Well, the water is sort of rippling, and there's a couple of fish I can see playing.
Cut that out. This is no joke.
Told ya. Pin communicator. After being told to keep on his toes, the monster attacks.
Monster! It's been causing all the sinking! It's over!
Mr. Mono, we better get into the water and quick.
Let's go, Ready to go?
Yes.
Hang on to me, Johnny.
Luckily, they wash up on a deserted island. Unluckily, they are captured by the Gargoyle Gang, the human minions of Emperor Guillotine, I guess.
You're too slow, friend.
I'll blast the boy if you try.
Being taken. Hey, now. He's in need of a nosh. Being taken inside their headquarters inside the island, they prepare to torture Jerry for information. But he's not going to have that.
Let go! Ah! Ah! You, Johnny! Get them!
It's a dead end.
We're trapped.
Blast him!
You don't often see people get gunned down in a kid's show. Or see an 8-year-old running around with a pistol. But it turns out they're not in a dead end. It's an elevator. And they go down to the big lab where we get our introduction to the other title character of the show. Pretty impressive, huh? Well, after another chase, they end up in the lab of Dr. Guardian, and Earth scientists being forced to build this giant robot to help Emperor Guillotine take over the world. And he reveals that the control is done by a little wrist communicator.
He will be under the control of the first voice that is recorded in his electronic brain.
Really? With this microphone? Hey, giant robot, start to move.
Johnny, no.
That'll be important later. The Gargoyle Gang is breaking into the lab. Dr. Guardian sacrifices himself so that Johnny and Jerry can get away, also revealing he's got a time bomb set to go off. So they make it outside onto the island, and the explosion happens, and, well, it looks like everything's destroyed.
Gee, Mr. Mono, giant robot is gone.
Look!
Yep, the giant robot survived. In fact, the energy from the explosion, which was atomic, got absorbed by the giant robot, and now he's fully functional. And even better, because Johnny spoke into the communicator and was the first one to do that, he is now in command of the giant robot. So, they used the giant robot to fly them back to Tokyo. They did that a lot in the series. This has all been observed by Emperor Guillotine at the bottom of the ocean. He's not happy. And he contacts his main henchman and our last remaining main character of the show, Spider.
You will order the Dracolan to attack them immediately.
We obey your command, sir. Now then, our conquest is underway. The Dracolan goes into action. His target will be Tokyo.
So, while the Draculon is attacking the mainland, Spider and his men will try and grab Johnny and get the control of the giant robot away from him. So we get a double action scene with Jerry and Spider fighting.
I'll handle the gargoyle gang. Johnny, you just command the robot.
And the giant robot fighting the Draculon. Jerry has a minor setback due to the fact that they still got 25 more episodes to go.
Spider! Give up! Stop him! Fire!
Not so Johnny.
Atomic punch cell!
After using his patented finger missiles, Draculon's destroyed. And with the Gargoyle gang defeated, Johnny and Jerry fly off with the giant robot.
Say, Johnny, he's amazing. This giant robot.
Mr. Mono, I'll bet the Gargoyle gang will try again.
And thus, the episode ends with the narrator explaining how this is just the first of many adventures Johnny, Jerry, and the giant robot will have as Emperor Guillotine will again try to attack the Earth. In the next episode, Johnny becomes a full member of Unicorn, since he's the only one that can control the giant robot. And Emperor Guillotine likes to use giant monsters. He also gets a spiffy suit like those uniforms you saw around the headquarters in some of the scenes. And the show followed a general pattern. They get involved in a mystery. Johnny and Jerry would investigate. A giant monster would become involved. And after some fighting with Spider and the Gargoyle gang, then giant robot will be called in to handle the big monster. That happened all the way up until the last episode, in which Emperor Guillotine himself decides to take on the giant robot, and we get an ending to the series that was an inspiration to the Iron Giant's ending. If you've seen the Iron Giant, then you know how this ending will go. This was a very action-packed TV show, especially for America. I mean, there had been action shows in the 60s. You know, Man from U.N.C.L.E., Wild Wild West, with lots of fighting and shooting. But For a kid's show? And just the number of people that get gunned down. Bad guys, yeah. But a lot of people die in this show. And Johnny, and later another little girl that joins in the later episodes, joins the organization. They get captured and threatened with torture and death constantly. And I'm sure there were a lot of parents that complained, but I was pretty young, so I don't remember that. I don't think Mom ever saw the show, so she didn't have anything to complain about. But this was a very fun, and for people of my generation, we're very nostalgic about this show, because it was, for me, it was my first introduction to the whole Daikyu drama genre. After that, I, of course, discovered Godzilla and Gamera and saw those films on Saturday afternoons or Saturday evenings. But this was my first introduction to the whole concept of people in costumes beating the crap out of each other on little sets. And it was very well done. If you saw some of the miniatures and things during the clips I showed, amazing. Especially for the time. And way ahead of any other kids show that was on at that time in America. Most of our kid shows, live action ones, would be like the Ghostbusters I showed a few months back, Sigmund and the Sea Monster, H.R. Puffin stuff. A lot of Sid Marty Krofft. That was children's entertainment back in the 70s. And then you had this. Mind-blowingly different. More exciting. More violent. But well, it's bad for kids. We were always told. Much more genteel things. More uplifting, positive. Not this shoot 'em up stuff. Which is kind of ironic considering the adult programming at the same time was pretty violent. If you've ever seen any of the cop shows back then. Like Cannon, Barnaby Jones, Hawaii Five-0. Lord, Jack Webb shot down a lot of people. But I think kids today would like it just for its action and excitement. And they're a little more jaded. But for those with a taste for the Kaiju genre, this is an interesting mix of that and espionage, alien invasion, standard for the Godzilla films of that time. If you've ever seen like Godzilla on Monster Island or Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, in which secret agents and aliens are vying for things while the two monsters fight until the plots all match up. But I have a lot of fond memories of watching this show as a kid. And if you've not seen it, you should check out a few episodes or the feature version Voyage into Space if you just want to get the highlights, as it were. But please hit like, share, and subscribe. And as always, stay after the credits for my favorite scene.
Use the rocket missile!